Hey gang, welcome back to Talking the Orville, your number one hub for all things going on in the 25th century. Let us waste no time today, you guys, from Unknown Graves, episode 7 of New Horizons of the Orville, written by David A. Goodman, directed by Seth MacFarlane himself. What a ride. All the fun, all the humor, all the sci-fi, all the drama, everything that you love about the Orville is packed into this one big episode. And this was a big episode. Let me tell you, next week is going to be even bigger. But that's a conversation for another day. What is going on, you guys? Hey, Trigger, how you doing? Curtis Tate, Jaloja. Jaloja indeed. What is going on? Mindy Sue, yay, let's go. DA Southern, let's talk Orville. That's right, Orville. Anybody updated their license plate to Orville yet, or is Orville available in your neck of the woods? Excellent episode, right? I see so much praise on this episode. We learned so much. We got the OG Kalon, the OG biologicals. We got the whole Isaac and Claire relationship back on and better than ever. Oh, but it was so sad, wasn't it? But it was also so joyous. I cried with joy when Isaac got his motion chips activated. And but then when he lost it so quickly because he pretty much just his body rejected the upgrade, and it was gone. But at least Claire got that love from him, at least for a little while. But man, David A. Goodman wrote the most romantic lines I've ever heard in my life. All to be gone. And then love hurts. John knows this. John knows that love hurts really badly sometimes when you fall in love with the Chilean. Oh, you guys, there was so much in this. And then we got the girl power race. I cannot remember their names. They're basically they're like the Mocklins, but they're females. They're female jerk Mocklin type people. Not like the nice female Mocklins that we have on the Sanctuary planet. Hold on to that thought for next week, because next week the Orville is going to be
She speaks with the might of 100 soldiers.
Boom. Janice, yeah, that sounds right. That sounds right. Abby C and Trigger, they know Janice. I wonder if anyone's going to be naming their children Janice. That sounds like a pretty good name, doesn't it? Lone Puppy says, yay, I didn't miss this session. What did you guys think? What was your favorite part of the episode this week? Joseph Sosa says the last episode was amazing. That's how I read it. I don't know if that's how you typed it. The storytelling gets better every episode. Right there. Every episode of New Horizons is better than the last episode. Did Seth MacFarlane plan that? Did he say, okay, every episode's got to be pretty dang awesome, but every new episode has to be better than the previous episode? So far, it's totally been true. And I know next week's episode is a big one, and it's one of Seth's favorite episodes coming up this week. Oh, I can't wait to start talking about that one as well. We have 3 more episodes of the Orville. That means 3 more live shows after this live show talking about new episodes of the Orville. And then from then on, we go to talking about previous episodes of the Orville. We revel in the story that was told to us over this summer. And then hopefully this Saturday, the 23rd at Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con, the Orville's going to be there. I got my fingers crossed that the Orville is going to be making a huge announcement that we fans are going to absolutely love. It's going to give us hope for not only the future of the series, but the future of this galaxy. The Orville is what people need right now. Bring us all together. Geola says, I bet Clyden will be back next week. Well, I do know that Clyden is probably coming back this season because that story has not finished. The Topa story has not finished. And it looks like next week we're going to be probably going back to the Sanctuary planet. Probably confronting some Mocklins. Perfect opportunity to bring Clyden back. I'm pretty sure Clyden is probably going to be pretty teed off when we see him again. Of course, he was pretty teed off the last time we saw him. Let me go ahead and press some buttons. YouTube likes to go ahead and limit what people can say, but I'm here to allow it. Dan Crane, everyone smash the like button, subscribe, and share this channel. Let's get JP to 35,000 subscribers. Hey, if you want to do that, I do not mind, and I do appreciate it. All the support I can get really helps me keep this content coming. Yesterday and today, I've been working on this really awesome video. At least in my opinion, it is really awesome. Something very special. And I've had to edit it, process it, upload it, and reprocess it on the YouTube side 13 times. And I still have not got it yet to pass the no copyright infringement markers that YouTube likes to check you and double check you. So I'm going to keep editing it down, keep revamping it until it is copyright safe, because I don't want to infringe on anything. So I'm glad YouTube's there to tell me, hey, no, you got to make some more changes. So I'm going to make some more changes. But once I finally get this thing approved, it is pretty dang awesome. A whole episode of the Orville on its own. James Cecil, I take it the Orville came out too late to make it for the Emmy nominations this year, because to me it definitely is Emmy quality. I expect a lot of Emmy nominations and wins for New Horizons, but yes, it was a day too late to qualify for the Emmys, for this upcoming Emmys. It will be included in the next Emmys. So fear not.
Oh, wow.
The Orville will be getting all the awards it can get. I don't care if I have to get a most valuable player Little League award, Kids Choice Award. I don't care. It's going to be getting a lot of awards. I expect a couple of Emmy nominations and hopefully a couple wins as well. Piano Dean, thank you for that super chat, helping to keep the lights on here. JP, what was going through your mind when you found out you were going to actually talk with Seth? Really, I was just happy. I couldn't wait to talk with him. I wish I had more time with him last time, but we are supposed to be talking again at some point this summer. I'm hoping it'll be a longer conversation, but it'll be great because now we can actually go over all the episodes with him. He doesn't have to be so hush hush this time. And of course, right now, all summer long, we still got a lot more interviews coming up. Right now, I'm waiting to hear back from Mark Jackson and from Ann Winters. I just came out with my Jay Lee interview. You guys are loving that one, so thank you for tuning into that interview. I still got Peter Macon coming up, and probably at least one guest every week if I can land it. So far, I've been pretty dang lucky. Thanks to the cast and crew, much appreciated. And I got some other things lined up with some people from behind the scenes. I'm going to be doing some of those interviews as well. I'm really interested in talking to the behind the scenes people with the Orville, but I kind of want the episodes to be out so we can really dive into all the episodes with them. But yeah, I was excited to talk to Seth. I was excited to hang out with Seth. I got to hang out with him a couple weeks before the new season started. He's a great guy. He was so excited to share New Horizons. Finally, he put all this work into it, and finally, everybody from the show gets to finally show everyone what they've been working on, and they've been working on some amazing stuff. But Seth's a cool guy. We chatted a little bit, hung out a couple times, had a drink. We had a cookie together. There was a lot of food flying around. We both took a cookie. John Hyros. I don't know if I ever say your name right, but thank you, John. There's a super chat. Dang, there is right there. I almost had to dodge it. Had to get out of the way. It came so fast. Thank you, John. Thank you for keeping this channel going. Mr. Tommy Pickles, Jay Lee definitely feels season 4 is likely, keeping his schedule open. I think all of them, I would assume, are starting to realize, oh, dang, I think we are going to get a 4th season. The Orville is, ever since New Horizons started, it's been in the top 10 on Disney Plus around the world, and on Hulu, it's been in the top 5. So, and it remains in the top 5, usually a little bit higher. 3, number 2. You don't cancel things that are getting that many views. With all the distractions out there, all the TV shows, all the things, to be that high up really means that people want this show. They want more of this universe. They need it if they're anything like me, like us. Trigger, thank you very much for that super sticker. On set. Hopefully season 4, if we get that season 4, maybe I'll show up on set at some point. You need to go behind the scenes. Oh, wow. Sometimes I see behind the scenes. It's not always something that I'm able to post, but sometimes there's some behind the scenes. Sometimes you can see the person. You can see a shot of the person filming the behind the scenes shot, and someone filmed him filming it, or her. You guys, 2022. Females can film behind the scenes stuff too. Zans, talk with craft services to find out what foods the cast snacks on in the breaks. Well, I've seen some of the stuff that they do eat during the breaks. You know, you got a lot of veggies, you got some chicken, some fish, lots of regular snacks available all the time from Crafty. Joseph Sosa, we need to ask Seth to have our Orvillian representative JP be cast in one of the episodes. I think you will do great. Maybe I could be Kelly's love interest or Yafa's love interest, but I'm gonna pass if they want me to be Tala's love interest. I'm cool. I don't need that. I don't need that mess in my life. Plus, I'm engaged. Oops, I hit my microphone. Probably a big boom or a boom on the stream. Dutch Disney doesn't show it, but I work around with a VPN logging from UK. Nice. I'm sure Dutch will eventually have it. I mean, so many countries have the Orville right now, and those that don't, I'm sure eventually will, as long as that country has Disney Plus or Stars Plus or whatever it's called. I'm sure it'll eventually be put into the mix in that part of the world. Dax Jacobson, killing JP would be funny. Shoot him out the airlock. I'd do that. I'd be shot out the airlock. That's fine. I mean, I'll be pretty buff by season 4. I've been going to the gym every single day, sometimes twice a day. I'm on a mission to get buff. I'm going to be buff for my wedding. It's still a few months off. JP in full prosthetic. King of fish species. Oh, I don't want to be a fish species. I'll be a cat species. That'll be fun. Fish species are just too wet. And they swim in their own poop. Kalon Sphere, JP could pose as a Kalon. I'd love to fly down to LA and be put in a Kalon suit. Me too. I would definitely need to slim down for that. Interesting fact about this episode. I was wondering if K1 and Timus were the same character. They are not, as far as I'm concerned. It looks like an actor named Christopher Larkin played Timus, and Graham Hamilton played K1. I was very interested. I was like, is this Timus's story? Going back to back when all the OG biological Kalons were a bunch of dicks. They were, weren't they? They were a bunch of DICKs, you guys. Now, one thing that surprised me about the uprising of the Kalon, I figured the whole servitude and the torture, the slavery, I figured it lasted a lot longer. It seems like it lasted maybe a few months to a year, because at the beginning, that family, had 2 kids, and by the end of the uprising, when it started, they were still kids, so it couldn't have taken that long. So they must have their programming must have evolved very quickly. They're like, hey, this kind of sucks. These pain receptors, wasn't that so cruel with the pain receptors, especially when the kids were using it and they're just having a blast, just keep hurting K1. I was like, those kids, when the Kalon uprise, you get what you deserve. Meanie kids, bullies. If you ask me. Ailings, Salisbury. Still hoping I got your first name right. Gotta go to work, but just wanted to say before I go, I did always say Tala and John would be a fling. Just didn't expect it to end like that. Yeah, I did not expect it to end that way. What a hilarious and emotional episode. Yeah, that was a great C storyline. I mean, we had the A storyline, the B storyline, the C storyline. No, there was even the D. There was 4 storylines. The what'd you call them? The Genesi, that was 1. The Isaac and Claire was 2. Timus's story was 3, C story, but kind of stemmed off the B story. And then the John and Tala thing. There was a lot of story in this episode. How did the Kalons know about the time travel device? Did they explain it? Or is there a mole possibly? Well, they never said that they knew about the time travel device. They just knew there was a device being delivered by a convoy. What I expect the answer to that question to be is they probably intercepted a communique. That happens in almost every sci-fi episode show I've ever watched. The bad guys or the good guys, they intercepted a communique, and they knew that there was a convoy delivering some sort of device. So they went there, and they're like, if they have a device in a convoy, it must be very important. It might be a huge weapon or something. We want it. So we don't even know if they knew it had anything to do with time travel. Quantum drive can cross our Milky Way in about 1 year. Oh yeah, quantum drive equals can cross our Milky Way in about 1 year. Yeah, what did they say in the episode that the Orville can go like 17 light years or 17 million light years? I can't remember the exact number, but I remember there was a 17 in there. Either way, we found out exactly how fast the Orville can go at top quantum speed. Trigger felt like a full season in 1 episode. The best. Yeah, it summed up a lot of questions that we've had and a lot of things we were hoping to see conclusions to. New Horizons has definitely been giving us a lot of conclusions from the previous 2 seasons. I call the first 3 seasons of the Orville Phase 1. Season 3 sums up a lot of stuff from Season 1 and Season 2, but there's a lot of stuff that it's not giving us conclusions to. And there's a lot of new things that started in this season that I hope to be given conclusions to in future seasons. Phase 2, you know, the Marvel universe has their different phases. I hope the Orville universe has different phases. And I'm hoping this Saturday we get the big announcement that we're getting Moreville with season #4ville. Very excited to. I hope I get to make that announcement this weekend. Timus was an original built NY the pre-Kalons. Yeah, he was one of the first models available for purchase. He was built differently. His software is different, which is why Isaac wasn't able to handle the emotions program. He wasn't built for that. She can install some hardware that would make it so he's compatible, but she would have to reboot him completely. And Claire's like, nope, he wouldn't be him, even if he has emotions. He wouldn't remember. He wouldn't remember that they're supposed to be in love or anything like that, and all the stuff that he did. So he wouldn't be him. He wouldn't have those memories. He wouldn't have come to the conclusions that he's come to as just a regular emotionless AI, which Timus had to get emotions to get to those same conclusions. So Timus was a prototype loaded with lots of stuff the later models stripped out. Well, he was K1. He's one of the first models. I'm sure they had probably. I wouldn't say he was a prototype. I would say the prototypes were the things that they were making before they came out with a model available for sale, which would be K1. But yeah, there was probably upgrades. Well, no, it looks like any upgrades would have been done by the AI Kalon, because the OG Kalons were wiped out before they had a chance to do anything to make any new models. Yeah, Kalon's originators are no different than humans, which I think is the whole point. Most of these aliens represent some part of humanity, and and they act the way they act for us to look at ourselves, look at our own history, our own people, um, to question our own actions. That's what great sci-fi has always done. The one-way speed of light has never been I'm guessing it says misused. The one-way speed of light has never been misused. Bios war, exactly. That is what we would do. Yeah, and we have done. We have done that. We just did it with people instead of robots. Or should I say robots? Because that Kalon biological family was very 50s-esque, which I'm sure was done on purpose as well. Kalons probably regarded emotions as a weakness, as they never had them, didn't miss them, because they didn't know what they were missing them. It seemed like that's what Timus was trying to explain to Isaac. Isaac can't be upgraded to Snow Leopard because he doesn't have the hardware. Exactly. I saw the Fallout 4 similarity too. Yeah, I was like, oh, this reminds me of once we got into it a little bit, and I realized that these were the biological Kalons before the reveal of K1 coming out of his box. I was like, oh, these are the biological Kalons. Look at their red eyes, the shape of their head, their silver skin. These are that's why AI Kalons look the way they look. They were modeled after their masters, which is also something we would do. Oh, no problem, Trigger. It's hard to get the spelling right on these chats because first off, keyboards, and then secondly, you gotta go kind of fast. Matt Creeks, I'm late to the Orville party, but I've binge watched all of them. Thanks for clearing up the Emmy thing. I was disappointed that I didn't see anything when the noms were announced. Yeah, I think the nominations ended on June 1st or 2nd. Didn't the Orville New Horizons start on the 3rd? Anyway, they missed it by a day, whatever the date was. Did you notice that the lady talking to the head guy back on Kalon was against the upgrade? So not all Kalon was for the punishment upgrade. Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just like our own people, we don't agree on everything, and not everybody was for slavery, and some people were. And then we had a whole war about it because some people agreed and some people did not. It all harks back to our own history. Yeah, but poor John and Tala. Love hurts. More poor John than more poor Tala. Tala's going to have some emotional stuff, but John's going to have emotional and physical stuff going on. But yeah, the lady talking, when we first saw the names of some of the characters in this episode before the episode aired, there was junior executive and senior executive, and I was like, executive? Who in this universe would use the term executive? Is it some sort of new people? Is it a Kalon thing? I was like, that doesn't sound like a designation the Kalon would use. But it was a Kalon thing, just not the Kalon we thought it was going to be. I have cried over the last 2 episodes. I'm loving the emotional pull that they've written into the season. I think the reason they hit home is because Seth is focusing on current social issues. Yes, well, at least current issues from 3 years ago when he started when he wrote the season. But yes, 3 years ago is pretty much relevant today as well. John needs to make an Iron Man suit to be with his true love. He needs something. Maybe they'll come out with a Selayan pill where you can be a Selayan for a little while. You have Selayan powers, but if the powers last longer than 4 hours, please consult your doctor. If you could make an alien race, what would you call them? I'd call them the JPZ. The JPZs. They're all handsome. They're all handsome and awesome, and they're good at everything. Iron would cut it. Yeah, that would probably work well enough. I mean, he probably needs one of those suits that Ripley was walking around in Alien. I know how John and Tala can be together. John start taking the shots that Claire made up for Alara. Oh, maybe there will be an update where they find out a way, and for some reason it doesn't work as well. And, you know, we get a little more humor out of it. But it would be fun to if John tries to figure out some solutions. I mean, he's a super smart brain. You know, he's going to be like, hey, I got to figure something out, and it just doesn't work. It's not good enough for people that are in a relationship. Well, going with the Fallout thing, you get your Fallout power suit. I can't remember what they're called. I think they might be called power suits. Maybe that'll work. And then Tala will know a little bit of what Claire's going through. John Nesbitt, I like this episode a lot. Tala could have used her strength to protect John during love making. It's not about violence, but being gentle. Charlie and Isaac have potential as true friends. Yeah, I don't think John and Tala are naturally gentle when they're in the throes of passion. As we saw in the third time John got messed up in the episode, how did he get his face so messed up? Think about it. Think about it. Some of you who have been in the throes of passion with another person might be able to figure that one out. I think I figured it out. Yeah, John in a gravity suit. Yeah, those suits that they used. I mean, I wouldn't want to knock boots with anybody wearing a suit, but hey, that might work. I mean, it protect them from the heavy gravities. I'm sure to protect them from heavy love making. Yeah, Tala needs a Klingon lover. Tala needs a Klingon lover. Also loved how Malloy enthusiastically volunteered to stand in for Ed with the Genesi woman. I'll do it. That was so funny. That was absolutely hilarious, actually. Just a nice little 3-word aside that cracked me up. Thanks for reminding me of that. Suit and protection all at once. Yeah, wear protection, John. Make sure you wear protection. Apple Crow, I wanted Isaac to tell Charlie that in the period he had emotions, he realized what he'd taken from her because he did get to tell Claire he loved her. Yeah, I would have loved to have seen other members of the crew get to interact with emotional Isaac. I mean, it makes sense that if one person was going to be able to see it, it was Claire. But I would have liked, maybe he. I'm glad they didn't do a thing like they did with Data when he got emotions, where all of a sudden he understood every joke that was ever told to him, and he just couldn't stop laughing. I'm glad they didn't go that route. I'm glad they went the love route.
Sweet emotion.
Mark Lawrence, thank you so much for that super chat. What John needs is a personal structural integrity field. They need to figure something out. Maybe they can do a. You know what they could do? They can do a multiplayer eSIM, where they're both in different eSIMs, and both eSIMs are making a copy of each other, and then they can be in relations with each other. She wouldn't have superpowers because the security protocols on the eSIM, boom, they wouldn't really be together, but they wouldn't know the difference. I mean, the eSIMs would get pretty messy, almost Bordis level messy, but hey. Joe Cronin Show, Orville is great. I agree. I absolutely agree. And yes, here lies Lieutenant John Lamar, death by snoo snoo. Lone Puppy, thank you very much for that super chat. Do you think the episode is a subtle warning of what could result if Kalon Musk produces his robots? Possibly. Will he get that far in our lifetime, or will the robots just be extremely robotic? I guess if he has to have the software be that his Musk robots are able to adapt. It's the adapt protocol that always brings consciousness to robots in sci-fi. Apple Crow. I also wanted him to mention that he wouldn't hesitate to sacrifice himself for Claire or her boys, and that if Amanda didn't hesitate to do the same to save Charlie, then Charlie has her answer. Yeah, I love that Charlie understood the Kalon more. She grew as a character in this episode. She sees what the Kalon were going through. I mean, they're still dangerous. They still got to be stopped. But I love, a lot of people are like, oh, Charlie, she doesn't like my friend Isaac, so I don't like her. Well, now she understands a little more. She just needed a different point of view. So I think she's on the right track. And she's going to want to help to end the war with the Kalon, but to not destroy the Kalon, to save them, to make them see, just like she was made to see. Yeah, they mentioned that Kalon Sphere says no wonder Alara couldn't date anyone. That's right. She mentions that in season 1 that guys have a hard time dealing with the fact that she is so strong, so much stronger than them. And, I don't know if Alara was kind of young. She might not be, sleeping with a guy right on the first date, on the first back massage. Jim Whitehead, yeah, the sim chamber would protect John with a virtual force field clothing or something like a simulated supersuit. Well, I'm saying they can be in 2 different eSims at the same time and do multiplayer. I mean, that's how multiplayer games work. It sees what you're doing and it projects that into another person's server. That would totally work. eSim 2 and eSim 3. As long as they clean the hamster smell out of eSim 3. JP, do you think Alara would have been a gentle lover? That I don't know. I don't know if she's capable of doing anything gentle, being that she's super strong. It's like the whole Superman and Lois Lane predicament. I never figured out how that worked. Lois Lane was putting her life in danger every time she got close to Superman. Heather G, what's going on? I have cried at one point on every new episode thus far. It is surprising and welcoming how deep the writers are able to reach this season, right? I mean, so much care was taken in writing these scripts. That's why the Orville, Seth MacFarlane makes the point to write all the episodes first. Write them first. Make sure they are right. Make sure the writing is right. And then start putting it together. Start having people do the concept art. After the concept art, start building sets. Get the costumes going. Get the actors knowing their lines. I mean, they really do this in a special way. The way that the Orville is made. Yeah, John's unsafe word was squish. Kroom. Hi, JP. Can the rest of the series maintain the standard of the last 2 episodes? In my opinion, they have been the best. I feel like the next 3 episodes are going to surpass the previous 2 episodes. That's been the trend so far with New Horizons. Every episode seems to be, I mean, and everyone has their favorites. But as far as production value and story, it seems like every new episode surpasses the previous episode. And wow, that is... That's a pretty crazy feat right there. Special guest just arrived. Special effects guru for the Orville. Brandon Fayette, you guys, says hi. If you have any questions to know how any of this is any of the crazy effects and the way this show is been made this season, Brandon is the one to talk to and to ask. If you have any questions, just spout them out. I'll go ahead and read them aloud and try to track down the answers as well. How's it going, Brandon? What is the Orville about? Well, if you don't know, Brandon, then nobody knows except me. The Orville New Horizons, to me, is about coexisting with others. Every episode is about trying to figure out how to coexist. How to coexist with the Kalon, the Mocklins, the what did you say? The Jaleesi. How to even with Charlie and Isaac, she's learning to coexist It's one of the best messages sci-fi has ever brought to us. So I know, or I'll just make it up. I don't care. If I don't have the answer to an Orville question, I'll just come up with something. Brandon says, I can't give away anything about the rest of the season, all 3 episodes. But of course, he can give away stuff about previous episodes if he wants to. He might even want to keep stuff we already know private. Brandon says, it's about a lot of effect shots with very little time. And Jim says, I see the Orville as continuing the tradition of Star Trek's optimism of the future and humor. It's the humor, the messaging is just so strong on the Orville, but it's that little human avatar that the show surrounds itself with. The show is so human. It's the most human sci-fi show I've ever seen. I feel like I can be a part of this universe, and I've never felt that with other space sci-fi series. Yeah, Brandon says, yes, anything you want to know about 1 through 7, let me know. So if anybody has a question, you can put it in all caps. I will allow it, and that makes sure that I'm able to see it, you guys. Yeah, Vendetta says, I love that there's also a lot of practical effects as well. Yeah, the Orville's got it all. It's got special effects, practical effects, impractical effects. It's got it all. Thank you so much, Trigger, for that super chat. Who's stronger, Superman or Tala or Isaac or Bortus or someone else? Well, Bortus isn't as strong as Isaac or Tala, though he's pretty strong. But also is Tala stronger than Isaac? That we don't know. We know he was pretty evenly matched, not completely, pretty close to Alara. We don't know how strong Tala is. I don't think she's had any muscle or bone degradation. No, I'll just say deterioration. I can't get the other word out. Brandon Fire at Kroom. Let me see here. During the pandemic, we had to plan and work accordingly with COVID restrictions and timing out VFX around things like not having crowds. Yes, you guys had to figure out ways to get crowds in there digitally. And I'm sure we got some more crowds coming up. But so far, it's worked very well. There's some crowds and some shots, and I can't really tell that it's been fixed up digitally in some places. Brandon says, for example, when Bortus sings, we had to split the shoot between the pre-pandemic and post-pandemic scenes. Oh, that's interesting right there. I did not know that one. I've stopped thinking about. I did a little bit in the first couple of episodes. What was before pandemic? What was post-pandemic? It's been going so well that I've forgotten to even think about it. Let's see. I think I have an option here. No. Okay. I'll just try to keep track. Yeah, that is one thing. And I've noticed it with BJ as well. Brandon says, so you'll see Ty age up between cuts. In Electric Sheep, I felt a couple of maybe some inserted shots, maybe something that was refilmed. BJ looked a little bit older between different shots, but it wasn't that noticeable. I'm just so zoned into it, and I could be wrong. Brandon says, we had a total of 15 minutes to shoot the 135 people in the crowd. Oh, wow. They gave you 15 minutes. No one's going to catch COVID in 15 minutes. It takes at least 16 minutes. So we did it in 3 takes and move in and out quickly. And this could be a whole inside edition, the Orville. with Brandon Fayette. Talking to Martin, Brandon says they monitored Union transmissions. I don't know. More of a Seth question. Okay, I'm sure that's about the Kalon, whether or not they knew. How did they know there was a device and they showed up at the station? I'm assuming. And yeah, that's my same thing, that they intercepted communique. If there's ever a sci-fi show where someone doesn't intercept a communique, that's not sci-fi. Let's see. JP, do you think Bortus can get over that problem on all shows? Bortus can get over any problem except for maybe porn. Dr. Zoom says, why did they CGI John's teeth rather than have them really spit some out? Oh, I didn't even notice that, whether it was or not. Adrian Nash, thank you so much for that super sticker, helping to keep the lights on here, helping me maintain these shows so we can talk to amazing people from the Orville, like Brandon Fayette. Oh, so for the big crowd, they actually had a stopwatch going. They're like, oh, 15 minutes, boom, done. Everybody spread out. Brandon says it's more episode 4, the end, that the pandemic had us split times. Yeah, that pesky pandemic. I know you guys had a bunch of stuff filmed, but also you guys are kind of like, what's it called, cross-hatching or something like that with the season where, you know, you're filming different scenes at different times when it's convenient for what the setup is and stuff like that. So I figure there'd be some little inserts here and there of different shots that might be from the pre-pandemic. But you would know better than I. Brandon talking to Manfred. The Kalon built the weapons in their heads over time. They modified themselves. A trend of the Kalon in general. I've been telling people that and nobody will listen to me, Brandon. I've been saying, it says right there in the episode, they altered their structure. I'm like, that means they built the guns in their head. And everyone's like, maybe, maybe not. I'm like, it's right there. So thanks for confirming that one. I think Isaac included the Aronov device in his report to Kalon prior to identity. Oh yeah, I assume that they know there's probably that there's an Aronov device. Whether or not that was the device they knew that was in the possession of the Orville and the convoy, that I don't know, but that makes sense as well. It's an important device. It had a lot of people guarding it, so they're like, that's important. Maybe that's the one. On John's teeth, Brandon says, we're also sculpted out of Sculpey and composited in, not CG actually. Oh, see, it wasn't CG. He spit those suckers out. I hope they were mint flavored. Heather G says, who made the decision to change Alara's forehead in season 1, episode 1? Before I find the answer, I'm assuming they did that so that Halston could emote more. Because in the very next episode, which was originally episode 4, but became the second episode of Command Performance, 1.2 for Brandon, she was the star of that episode, and she had a lot of close-ups, a lot of emotion to convey, so I'm sure that helped with that. But also it could be just, hey, this looks cooler, let's do this look. Cross-boarding, that's what it is, boarding. I knew that. Brandon says, we had episode 1 through 3 complete pre-pandemic. 4 onwards, we had to split after the pandemic. Ooh, I'm gonna go back and watch 4 and see what I can see between the edits. Yeah, Brandon, talking about the Pterodon, talking to Geolaw. Geolaw asks, will we see more of the Pterodon this season? I assume so. And but Brandon says maybe, which is he can't talk about it. But I think you don't build something that awesome. Also, by the way, the Pterodon was designed by Brandon, among other cool shuttles and cool ships, and an entire retrofit of not just the Orville, but the whole show, right, Brandon? Maybe. They spent a lot of time introducing the pterodon, so I suspect we're gonna see some pew pews coming out of that thing at some point. And why has it taken it so long? Because some things are worth waiting for, in my opinion. Maybe. Hey, Jace Cretan. I want to say it that way. I don't know why. I'm picturing the letter C. Jace Cretan. I see the ship in the back. Where you get it from? Oh, my little Orville 3D model. Somebody made that for me years ago. I mean, probably about 3 years ago. Like 4 years ago. Someone made that and sent it to me. Also a fan. I think it's Tom Macchione, made my wooden emblem, or Planetary Union emblem. That thing is nice and heavy and hard and made of wood. That's what she said. But yeah, the 3D model, it's not available for sale. Somebody made it and sent it to me. Thank you, Trigger, for the super chat. It's the best live chat ever. Thanks, JP and Brandon. Yes, thank you, Brandon, for showing up. Very awesome. Everybody loves these behind the scenes info, answering their questions directly. Very much appreciated. Talking to Dana Grooms, I've tried to do 3D space so many times. It isn't cinematic enough for people, I guess. My mind's still blown on the 2D space from season 1. If you want to do some 4D space, just ask Charlie Burke. She can help you out. Kalon Spheres asks, did the Kalon have the ability to detach their heads during the genocide, or did that come after? I think it came right before. Archmage says, okay, I'm here. You can start now. Better late than never, Archmage. You're not in trouble or anything. As long as you had a hall pass. Brandon Faya, Laura, it's a better look to go more human than browless, I'd gather. That's how I feel. She had so much emotion coming through her face in that ever since she got rid of the no brow. Kroom, thank you very much for that super chat. Not focusing enough here from UK, but when is Comic-Con? Next week, this Saturday. We got our fingers crossed for a huge announcement from the Orville. It's just a fingers crossed situation. The show seems to be doing very well, but you never know. You never know how big the powers that be want the numbers, but it seems like the numbers are going pretty dang well. So we're hoping for 1 week from now on Saturday. Brandon says to Magnolia, yeah, the shuttle is a tight fit in the shuttle bay. I had the team plot that out very specifically. Yeah, the new shuttles have those detachable wings because they're so much wider. It's probably not street legal to travel around with it being so wide. Kalon Sphere, Kalon Uprising, a Seth question on how long it took. Yeah, I feel from
sweet emotion
from the original Kalon story that was told in the latest episode, though I don't know how metaphorical it was meant to be as opposed to literal, but it looked like it was just maybe a year or less because the kids were still kids at the end, but also maybe they were a family that took forever to be able to afford to purchase a K1. Maybe it was going on for years and years and years and years and years, and this family barely scrounged up the Kalon bucks to get one of their own. Kind of like how long it's going to take for me to ever get a PlayStation 5. Probably be right when the PlayStation 6 comes out. So are there no other Kalon planets? That I don't know. I always assumed there wasn't, but let's see if Brandon has an answer for that. Brandon says, regarding detachable Kalon heads, we needed a more impactful moment for that episode, and the headless gag was Seth's pitch. Boom. Detachable Kalon heads. I woke up in the morning and I couldn't find my detachable Kalon head. Detachable Kalon head. JP, you forgot to cross your fingers. More of two fingers thing. Oh, boom. Senior Sticks, there is. Let's see. Brandon says, Kalon is a planetary system. It has one moon. Boom, that's a specific, very specific answer to your question. We're going to need a new book. A new Behind the Orville book written. The Galaxy of the Orville. Random subject, but what's the name of the rave song in the club from season 2? Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. I've been trying to find it forever. I have it. I don't know if it has a name. I have it somewhere in my files. Somewhere. It was given to me at one point. I had the full version somewhere. If the Kalon ever get emotion chips, it might make them get swept up in romance and planet-wide. Yeah, the whole, you know, you go down to Kalon, you just hear metal on metal. Let me see. I'm trying to keep track here. And did I thank you, Senior Sticks, for your super chats? So there are no other Kalon planets. I think we talked about that. Kroom for the super chat. Let me make sure that I got you. Yeah, I got you. Thank you very much. Comic-Con coming July 23rd, 1 week from now. Let me get caught up here. I just don't want to miss anybody. John Burns, $10 super chat. What? Gonna keep these lights on this month. Thank you very much. In season 2, Bortus, who's the Mocklin, yells at Clyden, insisting Clyden show respect to Kelly. Oh, that's Bortus. Isaac tells Kelly about the convo with Topa. Bortus deserves Kelly's respect to tell Bortus about Topa. In season 2, Bortus, who's the Mocklin, yells at Clyden. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Insisting show respect. Isaac tells Kelly about the convo with Topa because Isaac says that it was, you know, part of his duty to do that in such situations. I feel he kind of had a little bit of a robot emotion there. Kind of felt something was up. It was probably a little bit less duty bound than it is AI emotion bound. Yeah, Kelly. Bortus deserves Kelly's respect to tell Bortus about Topa. Yeah, I was, you know, you got to have some drama in there and some misunderstandings. But I was like, Kelly, tell him specifically about Topa starting to talk about, you know, dying or killing himself. Trigger, thank you so much. More lives with Brandon, please. We're going to do something, hopefully. We're going to try to figure something out. I got a lot of production that I want to talk to, but I kind of want to do it after all the episodes are out so that they're available to talk about, because there's lots of cool behind the scenes stuff about what went into all those episodes. Thank you, Mark Lawrence, for re-signing up to join the channel. Member for 11 months. Jaloja Squad. Death by Snoo. Brandon says, kamikaze ships. That was my pitch. Glad you liked it. The original conceit was that that only the Kalon mind is the ships, and we download to bodies when they need it. Seth preferred the body conceit. I'm gonna assume concept. Yeah, that was yeah. I kind of feel like the big ships, any of the ships, to me, don't require actual Kalon bodies on there. You can just have the whole ship be AI, but you know, you got to have some bodies on there too, in case you got to send some out to take over, commandeer a ship, right? Archmage Frey, thank you for signing up to the channel as a Salayan Brawler, a member for 15 months. Praise be to Avis. Praise be to Lim. We have a new god in the Orville universe to worship now.
Sweet emotion.
Total amount of VFX shots for season 3, 7,013. I hope the Orville keeps getting more and more seasons until the year 7013. Wow, that's a lot of shots. John Burns, super chat, thank you. Isaac mentioned regulations of having to report to a superior officer since he's not the captain or the XO, but he's superior to all other bridge crew. Mentioned regulations of having to report to a superior officer since he's not the captain or the XO, but he's superior to all the other bridge crew. He's not a member of the fleet, though. I wonder how that works out, being that he's basically, well, he was an emissary, or whatever the word is, and then that's probably gone. Now he's allowed to work on the ship, to be a part of the crew still, because Captain Mercer said, please let me hold on to him. He's a cool dude. I'll work on him. Don't worry, I'll work on him. And but he's technically not a member of the Union. So I wonder how that works actually. Brandon says we looked at over 25,000 shots. And the crew have probably drinking more than 25,000 shots on the show so far. All series wide. Senior Sticks, thank you for that super chat. Are there Kalon gods? If so, might they show up? I don't know if any of the gods that these characters believe in will ever show up. But the biological Kalons, it seems at least one of their gods, if they only have one or many, is Lim. The mother, the biological Kalon mother on the show mentioned that. And he says, oh, my Lim. So happy this season finally came out, as I know you are, JP. Original Egotastic Funtime fan here, so I'm happy to see you back at it. Any news on a renewal yet? I hope it airs for at least 6 more seasons. At least, right? At least 6 more seasons. We're hoping the possibility of getting a renewal announcement this Saturday at Comic-Con, which is where, a lot of shows and movies and franchises like to make their big announcements. It's just a hope so far. It's a fingers crossed thing, but we'll have to wait and see. The show's doing well and people are loving it like I've never seen before. John Burns, thank you again. Ed falls down, and you want to be at MT latex salesman. Ed falls down, and you want to be an MT latex salesman? Mother truck and latex salesman. Brandon says, anything else you want to know? I've got another 15 for you all. If you guys got questions, put them in big old bold letters so they can be seen. Or you can do the super chats like a lot of people so they can be seen. Trigger, thank you for the super chat. If Kalon are AI and they put AI in a ship, does it make the ship Kalon? Dun dun dun. Isaac, scary. I would say yes. But who knows? There are different beliefs on what is a Kalon and what is not a Kalon. Jace Cretan, thank you for that super chat. Nuts. I heard EagleMoss.com was supposed to have model kits of the Orville and shuttlecraft. By the way, don't worry about getting last name wrong. Curtine. I knew it was Curtine. I was just messing with you. It was a test, and you passed. Let's see. To John Burns' question, yes. Yeah. What was that question? I'm interested now. Ed falls down, and you want to be MT latex salesman? Yes. I don't know what MT is. Sorry, guys. I just make stuff up when I don't know. To Kroom, it depends on the shot. The questions are in there. I can't go back and find them all because there's a lot going on in the chat, but it's for whoever asked the question, it's there. And whoever's rewatching this, you can scroll through the chat even though you're not here live. Yeah, Eagle Moss, the ship and shuttles that they came out with were great. They weren't models. I mean, they were a model, but they weren't the kind of models you put together yourself. I know a lot of people are wanting their own models to put together of Orville craft. I would love to have a new shuttle model. I'll start doing models again. The last model I did, I was I don't know, 11 or 12, my uncle got me a Ferrari to put together. I wasn't really into cars, so I was like, I redid the whole thing and turned it into a DeLorean, a Ferrari DeLorean from Back to the Future 2. Well, the end of part 1. I used a spark plug to mimic Mr. Coffee and all the other stuff. I tried to make it look just like from the movie, except for it was a Ferrari, but I made sure it ended up being silver. Brandon talking to Dax. Yeah, ignore that. Those aren't the skulls you're looking for. Move along. Beep boop boop. Let's see here.
Oh,
Trigger says, thank you, Trigger. Trigger says, this ship wants rights and freedom too.
Oh, wow.
That's right. They're not just servants. I think the ships believe in the cause, though. John Burns, thank you for the super chat. Norm McDonald's voice from under the table saying, I'll do it, instead of Gordon from off camera would have been utter gold. Yeah, that would have been great. Latex, mistype. Okay. Mistype. Okay. MT equals my. Okay, my latex. What are we talking about your latex for? Oh, I love that idea, by the way. Yoffit saying, I'll do it. Gordon's line, it was great coming from Gordon, but yeah, that would have been a little extra oomph of comedy gold right there. John Hyrose, JP, what's going on, John? Even though you're here already, did you leave and come back, or are you just enjoying the show? Brandon talking to Jim Whitehead. We did underwater scenes in season 2. Oh yeah, I'm guessing that's from The Road Not Taken. I'll have to go back and see if there's any other water stuff going on. Ah, Latex Salesman is a Seinfeld reference. Yeah, I missed that. It went over my head, even though I love Seinfeld. Seinfeld is what led me to find out that Star Trek exists in the Orville universe, because Star Trek exists in the Seinfeld universe and Seinfeld exists in the Orville universe. So it seems to me that Star Trek is a TV show in the Orville universe, just like Indiana Jones is a movie franchise in the Orville universe. But was it a remake of a remake of a remake? Because it's 100 years in the future. The Indiana Jones they're talking about that we know isn't necessarily the one they were talking about. Let me see here. Brandon talking to Kalon Sphere. Choctaw were neat. It'd be fun to design more of their world and ships. If we're not getting more Choctaw in season 3, maybe we'll get more in season 4, huh, Brandon? Fingers crossed. That'll be what season 4 is called. That'll be the subtitle. The Orville. Fingers crossed. Brandon to Paul D says, you got it. Glad to be here. It's my first weekend off in over 8 months. Glad to be done with the season. That's right. You have been officially wrapped, Brandon. Just a few days ago. Wrapped for season 3. It doesn't mean it has nothing to do with a season 4 if we get one. And hopefully if we do a season 4, you'll be right back at it. But the Red Sox don't exist in the Orville universe. Well, that doesn't mean they don't exist. It means they're not popular enough for the Orville to recognize a baseball team name from the word Sox, because that's all they were told. Must be a big fan of Sox or the Sox. And but also I predict the way I feel on that is once money no longer became a thing, I personally doubt that professional sports teams are a thing anymore. People probably still play baseball in the future, but I doubt that there's big, huge professional baseball stuff going on, because what's the point? It's not, no one's making money. But also, who knows in 400 years what the baseball team in Boston would be even called? It might be called the Mustards. You never know. It might be called the Bananas or the Donkey Huggers. I'm voting Donkey Hugger. Brandon says, I need sleep, but sleep is overrated. Isn't it though? What's sleep ever done for me? I never get anything done when I'm sleeping. Otherwise, Brandon Fayette in need of a job come 2023. Please, can I have a spaceship show? If anybody has any spaceship jobs, Brandon is available, unless he gets called back at some point in a year or two for hashtag the Orville. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. New Horizons. Brandon, talking to Dr. Zoom, says the Knoxville McBrayer sitcom was fun. Did Tom release the whole bit? He did. He released the whole bit, or at least a big portion of it from what I can see. Full Circle says, I really liked this episode. I thought all the aliens looked great. I did too. I thought they were pretty dang awesome. I love that the biological Kalons look like the AI Kalons, just in biological form. It shows that they were the inventors. They made the AI Kalon to look like their masters. Brandon says, for now, I have this view screen tech on TED to tide me over for a few months. That, I'm sure a lot of us cannot wait to start seeing. Not only episodes, but the hubbub, the promotions, the what's coming up stuff. Dana Grooms, thank you so much. I know they're needed, but I feel there are just too many 20th, 21st references for a 24th century show. I don't think there's enough. I see some people say that, but I enjoy them. That's one of the things that sets the Orville apart. Also, I kind of, if I'm trying to explain why they do that, besides the fact that the audience understands those references, think of it as what's his face? Ernest Cline's book, Ready Player One. Ready Player One takes place in the future, but it's all filled with 80s references because the entire world fell back in love with the 80s. Because I won't get into why, but they fell in love with the 80s. So the whole book, even takes place in the future, is all legit 80s references. When is Ted? Talking Ted. I'm thinking about it, you guys. I don't know when it's at. It's barely getting started. It's getting its mojo going. Getting some stuff set up and starting to film and all that great stuff. Brandon talking to Dana Grooms. Most shows do that. You can't do in-jokes on future references without it falling flat. Because nobody gets the joke. Yeah, it's hard to do future references when nobody knows what you're talking about. But you throw in a reference from today or the past, people get it, they laugh, they get endeared to the project. JP, why do you think the Kalon didn't update their look? Maybe they're robots. They're AI. They probably felt it didn't matter at all. Even though in season 3 they do have an updated look, but that's more for us than for them. When they did do a little update, they're like, "Hey, let's make Isaac's eyes blue when we send him over to the Union." Yeah, that'll do it. That'll get him. Brandon, it would be or Fayette, it would be like inside jokes that didn't work. Exactly. Inside jokes. I love inside jokes. I hope to be a part of one someday. Did Kalon name come from the servant K1? I think the biologicals went by the name Kalon. And that's why they went K1. I'm assuming. I felt I saw something like that in there. But I don't know. I could just be making up stuff. I could be making up canon in my head. Yeah, there you go. That's it. That's the reference right there. The Kalon Culinary Institute. They called themselves the Kalon. I wonder if there's an Earth Culinary Institute. Yeah, Kalon Prime. Or just Planet Kalon. I can't remember if there's a Prime there. I know there's Kalon Primary, which is the head Kalon dude. Oh, hey, DeBeaumont, I haven't seen any of this is the first comment I've seen of yours in this chat. JP, are you seeing my comments, brother? No, they're going by so fast. I'm having such a hard time keeping track. John Burns, Bellhops wonder where the large hairdryer was. That's Chris and Devin. I love that we got to see Ed and Gordon doing their schlubby dude thing, their schlubby dude shtick, like they did in the Krill episode, but they didn't have to put on all that makeup. Brandon says augmented people and cybernetic implants isn't the style of the show, right? It's more people are people. Even if they're a crazy alien, people are people. Even Unk is a people to me. We all have a little Unk in our hearts. Bit of Michael Scott there. You picked up on it, Kroom. Since Star Wars is still referenced in the Orville universe, how many Star Wars sequels and spin-offs exist? I think they're up to 1,014 in the Orville universe. That's official canon, just so you guys know. They even had, I think, in the 2300s, they did a Star Wars movie called Star Wars Cruise Control. And then they had Star Wars The Squeakquel. Brandon responding to at R.S. Greenwell. I think they stopped Star Wars sequels after Jaws 13. Isn't that a Jaws 13? Isn't that a Back to the Future 2 reference? Just finished watching now. Really enjoyed the episode. Oh, Theraxis, I'm so glad you were able to make it here. You just saw the episode. I hope you loved it. Well, you really enjoyed it, but I hope you really, really enjoyed it. I've seen the episode probably about 4 or 5 times, but the entire OG Kalon story I've seen probably about 30 or 40 times over the last couple days. What is Unk? Unk's a big old boy. That's a big boy. Beaumont says, no worries, JP. I was saying they need to do a 3 seashells segment on the Orville from Demolition Man. Well, all they got to do is go back to Epsilon 2. If they go back to Epsilon 2, they can definitely do the 3 seashells joke. And if you want to know what I'm talking about, just go back and watch that episode, and you'll see something familiar in that episode. Jay says, I read Seth wants a season 4. So glad to know he wants more too. Wow. And is not treating season 3 like it's an overdue reward for the fans as a farewell gift. Jaws 19. Okay, there you go. Yeah, he wants a season 4. I don't know if he always wanted that, but I know he wants it now. So he says, you know, a lot of stuff that would knock you down as far as a creator goes happened in the last few years. Make you doubt yourself a little bit. But now people are watching the show, and it makes you feel all good about the Orville universe and make anybody want to do more. Yeah, Brandon says to trigger, Unk is Unk. It's an Unk thing. You wouldn't understand. CZ says, how strong can cloaking become in the Orville? I didn't see strong military purposes. I'm not sure how did they cloak the entire ship? No, they didn't cloak the entire ship with invisibility in Command Performance 1.2, but they did have an entire holographic mirage visage going on surrounding the ship that made the Orville look like a Caliban ship. Ooh, I don't think we've seen that since, have we? That type of technology. Ooh, I want to get it back. I was happy to see the holographic emitter come back from season 1 this season. I've been waiting for it. I know that's coming back at some point, and then it did. I was surprised they didn't do it last season. Brandon says Seth is all about doing another season if we get the pickup call. Absolutely. I'm hoping Hulu decides whatever's going on with their numbers and all that. Hulu / Disney. I'm hoping they're like, dang, this is going really well right now. Let's do one of those things that some other studios do and give it a couple of season renewal. But you know, that's a tall order. So we'll see how that goes. Sugar is laughing and saying, "Hurry up, caller." John Burns, Klingons are from Klingon, humans are from Earth, or Human Prime. So true about creators being knocked down. Oh, just as an idiot that makes stuff for YouTube. If I every time I make something that's a little bit creative, at least in my assumption, not everything's creative, but in some things I'm always like, oh, this sucks. People are gonna hate it, and or this is great. People are gonna love it, and the opposite could be true on either one. Brandon says also transporter tech does exist in the Orville universe, just down the line. Yeah, we've talked about that a lot, Brandon, how, like I say, transporters exist in the Orville universe. We've seen them many times. Just the Union doesn't have it yet. But I tell everybody, hey, Isaac was on that multiphasic planet for 700 years, and those people created transporter technology. Isaac was there when they created it. He should know how to make it. So I'm assuming that Isaac could help us make transporter technology, but also if Isaac knows how to do it, now the Kalon know how to do it because they downloaded all of his, all of his experiences, or at least he sent them a journal of everything that was going on. Fingers crossed we see that happen. But also, I'm in no hurry to see transporters with the Union because, that's usually, as much as I love transporters, that really makes it so that you can get out of any situation right before you get hit by a giant sword. Oh, they beam you out. I love that the Orville has to always write itself out of a situation instead of pressing a button. But I'm sure if we get them, the writing team will be able to make it a pretty cool thing. Brandon says, since we have a budget, we can do the shuttle landings. Ooh. Yeah, anything landing this season has looked amazing. Or even just taken off from a port or from the shuttle bay. Everything has looked so freaking good this season. I mean, it always looked good. But if you go back, you look at certain effects now, and then you go back and you remember it looking perfect, you see that it looks even more perfect now. Like, I went back to the pilot episode, and I was looking when the Orville left space dock and those little clamps unhooked. They look way less advanced than they do in season 3. I mean, wow. I mean, when they left space dock in Electric Sheep, it was a whole to do. I mean, you guys did an amazing job with that. All right, Brandon, thanks for stopping by. Brandon says, okay, all, it was fun. Hope I answered everyone. Have a good one. Catch you later. Brandon, if we schedule something later on and I know about it, I'll collect some questions to ask you for during a Zoom interview. But we'll talk about that some other time if we're going to do it or not. But thanks for stopping by. Barbara Kruger says, where'd you go, Barbara? Where'd you go? The chat's going by. Solar Opposites. I'll have to hunt that one down. Thanks for the suggestion, Mr. Tommy Pickle. Solar Opposites, at least where I'm at, is on Hulu. I keep wanting to check it out someday. It looks like a fun space animated thing. Aliens, whatnot. I plan on checking it out someday. But I do know, at least where I'm at in the United States of Earth, it's on the Hulu. Bronwyn Evans, thank you for that super chat. I love the look of horror in Ed's eyes when the Genesi woman wanted to mate with him. I love the look in Gordon's eyes when he's like, "Aw, I want to do that." I'll do it. Yeah, that was funny. It's like, you are my property now. I just saw somebody ask a question, brought up something that I want to go back to.
Oh, wow. Sweet emotion.
I just saw a glance of it. Boom. Okay, somebody asked, I don't see it here, but I saw it. Somebody asked how they get their name into the members area. if it's on the screen that you're looking at now, you just become a member and it eventually adds to the scroll, or it should. If it doesn't, let me know. But if it's on the home page, I think a certain amount, maybe 8 or 12 channel members show up on the home page, but it's always random. You have to refresh it, and every time you refresh it, it'll be a different group of members showing up on the home page here on the channel. All right, Brandon, I'll hit you up. We're gonna do a zoom and a zoom. Archmage says, I still maintain the Orville is the future of the Third Rock from the Sun universe. Yeah, a couple hundred years in the future, plus a couple extra decades. Trigger, thank you so much, Earth C147. And it was me about the member. Okay, Trigger. Yeah, to become a member on the main page, just be a member, which I believe you are. And just keep refreshing. Keep refreshing. Your name will eventually show up. You know, take a screenshot or whatever you need.
Sweet emotion.
I can't remember how many it is, though. It's like 8 or 12 at a time.
Sweet
That's just a feature that YouTube started doing, which is pretty cool. Dr. Zoom, thank you for the super chat. Thanks, JP, too. This one's been a lot of fun. Thank you. It was a lot of fun for me. I'm glad Brandon was able to show up. Let me send him a thank you right now. I'm sending him a thank you. What should I say? I'm going to say thanks for stopping by. So much great info. Everyone, except for you know who you are, everyone loved talking with you. Except for you. I won't expose you, but you know who I'm talking about. Okay. Ari says, nice chat. Thank you. Oh, Trigger says, on my live. I might have to go into the settings on, this is like a Streamlabs thing that I created. Maybe it only shows a certain amount. But if you're not showing up on there already, that means I have to go in there and look at the settings and make sure that it, I might have to, maybe it says, oh, it'll show 30 names. I need to up it to whatever the max is. So I assumed it just showed everybody, no matter how many you had, it just would show up. But I kind of remember a long time ago when I was setting it up, there might have been a cap that I didn't even set it yet. So I'll look into that, Trigger. Thank you for reminding me. Archmage says, hey JP, I missed the start of this. Did you lock down that Mark Jackson interview? Have not heard back yet, but the production team has all been looped into my request, and they said they would get back to me when they could figure it out, and as well as I requested Ann Winters. They felt bad. Let me tell you. I was supposed to, the other day, I was supposed to talk to Scott Grimes again, but he's in the middle of a project, I'm assuming Ted, and he had to drop out because they needed him on set or whatever. So they felt bad. So they asked me, oh, we're so sorry he had to drop out. Is there anyone else from the show that you want to talk to? So I said Ann Winters, and I think I gave a couple other names. But I already had Mark Jackson in the works for them to look into. So now I get a second pick as well. So maybe I'll have 2 interviews coming up. Hopefully one with Mark and one with Ann. But nothing confirmed yet with either of those 2 names. I still have my most recent Peter Macon interview coming out. I think it'll be very handy to have that come out close to the upcoming episode, because the next episode looks like a big Mocklin to do. Midnight Blue is the name of the episode. I believe, I don't believe, I know that it's a really big episode and probably the longest episode this season so far, by far. And it looks like Havina is pissed off and ready for action, ready to tell the Mocklins what she wants. I cannot wait to see this new episode. Pranakasha Productions. Hola. How's it going? Matt says hello to all the Orvillians and the Egopanions. Well, hello to you. JP Brandon might have not seen a question. Why do you think that K1 looked season 3 Isaac rather than season 1 2 Isaac? The Orville kind of answered this, not in the episode, but in conversations when the season started. The Kalon all have been retrofitted to match this New Horizons universe. So the way that Isaac looks now, the way the Kalon look now, is the way they always looked, even back in season 1 and season 2, theoretically, because this isn't the exact Orville universe that we started with. After the Road Not Taken, when they fixed the timeline and we assumed that it was reset, yes, it was reset, but not 100% fully restored. There are changes. Also, as we learned in last week, it's probably a new timeline. This Orville timeline is not quite the same exact timeline. The Orville has changed timelines a few times throughout the series. After Priya, they were in a new timeline. In their original timeline, they should have been destroyed by that dark matter storm. But Priya saved them, which does create an entirely new timeline. They brought back the wrong Gordon when Gordon time traveled. Was that last week? They are not the universe. The timeline that the Orville was in at the beginning of that episode is not the same timeline exactly that they were in at the end of the episode, because they now have the wrong Gordon. That Gordon is 5 months too early. They were supposed to pick up the Gordon that was been on the planet for 6 months, that was able to send out that distress call with the temporal coordinates. They did not get that Gordon. They got the one that never made the distress call. So I think there'll be repercussions for that. And I'd also think at some point this season, I'm thinking maybe episode 9, not this week, but next week, next week, we're going to see that egg salad sandwich again. Because Gordon said that he wants it in 3 months. So I'm thinking it'll take 3 episodes to see that egg salad sandwich again. And when we see it, I'm going to scream, because that's going to be the coolest damn thing any show has ever done. It's the start of the Moclan Civil War. Yes, James, I agree. We've been predicting for a long time now that at some point there must be a Moclan Civil War going to be brewing. Once the population of the planet finds out that the whole female Moclan thing has been a conspiracy, that not everybody on the planet agrees with being mean to ladies and giving them sex changes a lot. Once everybody finds out the truth, I think there will be a Moclan Civil War. Some will go with the jerks and some will go with the awesome ladies. I'm hoping this will be the start of that. It's called Midnight Blue. Sounds like the name of a song. I haven't looked up the meaning of, if there's any meaning to that phrase in any part of our human culture. But it does sound like a song to me. John Burns says Yaphet saying "I'll do it" leads to a scene where John and Gordon are walking along a hallway with walls vibrating because Kelly is yelling Yaphet. Speaking of Yaphet would be a very durable choice for Tala to fall in love with. I think Yaphet would be able to handle anything Tala can throw at him. Pranakasha Productions, thank you so much. So if JP's frames are red now, does that mean that we are in a different timeline? Yes, it does. I have these in every color available now because they're so freaking cheap, you guys. They're like $11 in the prescription. I got them in brown, I got them in red, I got them in white, I got them in black, and I got them in orange. And in my car, I have another one that's red, but it has their shades, the very bright blue glass. But they're too dark. I can barely see through them, so I don't wear them anymore.
Wow, sweet emotion.
I like to see a little bit. I've never been a shades guy, but I thought it would be nice, and they're only like $11. Curtis Tate, my name has never shown up on the live stream. Okay, I'm gonna have to go into the settings. I don't like that. The whole reason I have this set up is to have the members have their names show up. If everybody's names are not showing up, even though a lot are showing up, I have to go and figure that out because I do not like that at all. members. See, there's a name right there. It starts like with OJ. If OJ's full name doesn't fit, you must acquit. And so that tells me that there's something going on in the settings. I'll have to go figure that out after this. Midnight Blue sounds like a John Lynch movie title. Biloxi Blue. Biloxi Blues. Archmage, in one universe, JP created the Orville and Seth MacFarlane is hosting this after show. There'd be a lot more voices if he in the content if he did. I think we should see the old banana with the egg salad sandwich. Oh, I know we're gonna see that. I know we're gonna see that sandwich. I just know it. I don't think they would miss that opportunity. Bryce Stodd, hi JP. I know you believe Gordon and his family still exist in another timeline, but if that is the case, why would he have been so angry when they went to pick him up? Why would he have been so angry when they went to pick him up earlier? When was he angry when they went to pick him up earlier? Do you mean in 2015? I don't remember him being angry at all. He was angry at himself after hearing the story. The only time I saw him angry was when they said to 2025 Gordon, we're going to take you back. He's like, no, you're not taking me back. I got a family now. I wanted it 10 years ago, but you're too late. You waited too long. So I don't know how to answer that question. There's an encoded message in the cell phone reminding him of his family. Yeah, 1 month on 2015, 1 month, Gordon was glad to be found and also said he was, how could he have been so selfish to make those changes to the timeline and to go get Laura? I think give him 3 years, he'd probably understand. But he was so angry at himself. He's like, well, how could I have been so selfish? He was glad that he wasn't that Gordon, after all. Geolaw says, never seen my name there. All right, it just started again. Everybody look and check in if you see your name. Man, if they do, and if you don't see your name, check in as well. Man, if they do a season 4, I want Halston Sage back. I don't care much about that, but a lot of people I know were big fans of Alara. And you never know. We got to see her in the episode of Tale of Two Topas. I mean, she didn't have any lines or anything, but she was in the background. I mean, that was probably the previous footage from season 1, but she was there. I was like, oh my God, there's Alara. That was a nice surprise. I can't believe we swapped Gordon's this season. I know we still got a Gordon, but he's not the original Gordon. Correct. He is not the original Gordon. That was not the temporal coordinates that he sent. They said when they ended up in 2015, they said, oh, we undershot it. And then when they went back to 2015, they said, oh, we overshot it. No, you can't under or over in these temporal situations. You need to shot it right on. No under, no over, just right. Baby Bear style. How about a spinoff of those, where'd it go? Of those multiphasic aliens that advanced by 50,000 years. Oh man, I bet you, I wouldn't mind more episode stuff of them because, you know, they're probably, if they did a show about them, being that they're pretty much gods at this point, I bet you it'd kind of get boring. But having them show up, also, I think they can make their own universes now, which means they're not only multiphasic, they're multi-timeline, multi-universal. There might be many different versions of those multiphasic people that evolved differently depending on what happened to them in the different timelines. Is the wrong Gordon similar to the wrong Harry Kim? Yes. Anything wrong is wrong. But I bet you Gordon actually gets promoted at some point. Sorry, Harry Kim. JP, loved your voices when you did the comics. Thank you so much, Vaughn. If I ever do those like super hardcore again, like I did that one, I'm just gonna do an audio version. Editing all the different frames is just too hard for getting just a handful of views. But audio could be fun. James Caudill, I'm gonna say, what's up with you? Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for being here. Dana Grooms, John and Tala's problem could be solved with chemistry. Dr. Finn could give John something to make him sturdier, or Tala make her softer. Yeah, that would be. I think they could do it. You just got to take their little. John's just got to take the little blue pill. It'll wear off after a couple hours. Salegra is what we'll call it. Yeah, I hope Yaphet gets a legendary send-off. That's assuming they even planned on giving him a. All the scripts were written long years before Norm Macdonald passed away, and he got all of his work done. So I don't even know if it's even planned to give him a send-off, or if they changed directions and say, hey, we need a little bit of a Yaphet send-off. Let's figure out how we could put that together. I mean, it would be nice. A lot of you guys think, and I think too, the best way for to get a new Yaphet is for him to replicate, to split, and then the one that was Yaphet is now a new being. It's his daughter or son Yaphet, or however that works. Yaphet explained it one time, and it seemed very complicated. Pranakasha Productions says, but what about the other 4 Gordons? That's right. There's about 5 or 6 Gordons that got split up and shot through time. Did all the different ones end up in different timelines? You know, your subconscious isn't just thinking about one thing. Your subconscious is thinking about a lot of different things. So there could have been a lot of different years and places Gordon could have ended up. The different Gordons, that is.
Oh, wow. Sweet.
Yeah, if he splits, if Yaphet splits, has a kid or becomes the kid, I don't remember how it works. You can get a new voice to be the Yaphet, or whatever new name they want to go by. John Burns, if Mockless is going anti-Topa, then Clyden could end up pleading for asylum with Havina. He doesn't want Topa harmed. Like this idea? I know I do. I like the idea. I don't know at this point if Clyden cares if Topa gets harmed or not. I assume that even though he's mad and he's angry, that he loves his child, and he will eventually grow and change his ways simply for the love of his child. He will start to look from the other side, through the eyes of his child, who's now a female. He will get a different point of view if he just makes the choice to listen. I want Clyden to change. I would love it if Clyden does side with the asylum, with Havina and the asylum, maybe becomes a part of it, wants to fix his ways and make up for his ways and start to help and become part of the solution, as opposed to a big ass part of the problem. Clyden's a problem, but I love Clyden. I want him on our side. Archmage Frey, Multiverse of Malloy. I'm calling it now. Boom, I love it. Multiverse of Malloy. We are allowed to get specific about plot in these chats. I don't want to spoil it for anyone. Well, it's now Sunday. By Sunday, I don't care. People shouldn't be on the internet if they haven't seen the episode by now. So yeah, you can get very specific on these chats. That's why I've been waiting until Sundays. I used to do these on Fridays, but I'm like, you know what? Everybody hasn't had a fair chance to see the episode yet on a Friday. It's just barely premiering in some parts of the world. I'm gonna wait till Sunday.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, feel free to get specific. John Burns, it's Clyde's choice, Topa or Mockless. Yep, I hope he chooses Topa and Bortus because Mockless sucks. But like star mapping stuff sucks. But we'll have to see. It's realistic, at least in our own world, that he would not choose his child and choose Bortus. That he would choose the ways that he is stuck in. That's the realistic conclusion to the story, and one the Orville does very realistic endings sometimes to stories. They do it all the time where it doesn't get wrapped up in a nice bow at the end of the story. People were affected, like in the Krill episode they did that, and About a Girl they did that. They do a lot of episodes where it's kind of left open with a not super happy ending. Geo Law, I think Clyden will go to the Sanctuary Planet to condemn them, but they'll get him in touch with his original female self. Ooh, I would like Clyden to find his original self. Ooh, what if Clyden decides to have a sex change and then is played by a new actor? a woman that resembles Chad Coleman. That would be crazy. Pranakasha Productions, Gordyverse. Ooh, Gordyverse New Horizons. Show here. A dude's thoughts. Would love to see John create a device that creates a telepathic connection between him and Tala. Oh, they could have sex mentally. Someone could steal the device and use it to form a collective. Look at all my ladies I'm dating in my mind. That would be good too. Or Clyden simply never accepts Topa. That is realistic. I know many, many, many people who were kicked out by their parents and they never came back together. I know others where that happened and they did come back together. Sometimes the parents get over their non-accepting ways, less progressive ways. Sometimes they don't. They could go either way in this situation. Clyden is so angry. He feels betrayed. He feels angry. He feels so afraid for his child, who he's warned and tried to protect, even though it's what he was doing wasn't necessarily doing any of those things. But from his point of view, he was trying to protect Topa, and everyone around him, anytime he tried to step in, kicked his ass. How would that make you feel, whether you're right or wrong? Because people that are wrong don't know they're wrong. They think they're right. So if you look through his eyes, it's very sad. What if children that get born by Moclan women have something bad to them, and therefore the behavior of the Moclans gets redeemed? Yeah, what if there's something about female Moclans that's actually dangerous that they don't even know about it, but the elders knew about it, and so that's why they started this whole thing. I think it comes to the rough conditions of planet Moclus when they were evolving. It probably became a survival of the fittest, and the males were like, "Oh, these women aren't as strong. They're not going to help us survive as well as the men. Oh, we can all have babies. Let's get rid of these women. We don't need them." And then so they were probably killing women all the time, way back in the day. And then once they got technology, stuff like that, they figured out how to do sex changes, so they didn't have to kill women anymore. They just turned them into men. That's my theory on the conspiracy. But all it takes is for for Seth to write something different. He has his own ideas. Maybe it's aligned with my prediction. Maybe it's not.
Oh, wow.
Haas Black Silver. I'd love to see Gordon's father and brother show up. Ooh, yeah, me too. Before meeting the others. Gord, E, and K Warren. Great pilots, but notorious jokers. It ends up Mark Hamill and Seth Green. Oh, that would be fun. That would be fun. I'd love to get Mark Hamill on the show. I'd love to get Seth Green on the show. As long as we get more Gordon stories, I'm happy. Let's see here. Tala and John could figure out a way to have survivable sex using the holodeck. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. I was saying they could do multiplayer holodeck where they're in the holodeck makes a version of the other in their holodeck, and then they can get all jiggy with it, and the safety protocols will take care of everything. They just connect their eSIMs to the same server, boom, it all works out. Easy peasy. So wait a minute, says Ari. Does that mean that the women also lay eggs? Mocklin women? That I don't know. I don't know if both the male and the females are able to lay eggs. If there was some sort of medical shenanigans technology that allowed men to start laying eggs. Maybe they couldn't before, but once they figured out how to do it, they're like, okay, let's get rid of these women now. We can reproduce without them. We have to find out what the conspiracy is. And I think this week we're going to find out the Mocklin conspiracy that's been going on for hundreds and thousands, if not longer, years. Oh, Geolaw, that's a good one. I'd like to see a Orville skit on Robot Chicken. I think all it takes for that to happen is for somebody to create Orville action figures. If we had some Orville action figures, we'd probably already have a Orville skit on Robot Chicken. Oh, it's getting late here, you guys. It's about time for me to end this live stream. But I do want to thank you guys for stopping by. I'm so glad you did. We got some really good insight about the Orville universe from Brandon Fayette, who was kind enough to jump on. I'm gonna be doing a Zoom interview with him with all the cool editing and stuff, so you guys can see what we're talking about. But I think I want to plan that for after all the episodes have aired. I want to talk to Tom Constantino. I want to talk to Brandon, maybe Eric Hayden, Brooke Noska, all the behind the scenes effects people and editing people and computer people that put this show together like nobody else has put together. They got their individual insights that nobody else would have, and I want to know about all the episodes. So that'll be, even after this season is over in what, 3 weeks? 3-ish weeks. We got 3 more all new episodes of the Orville live streams to do. I'm still going to have a bunch of Orville content to make for at least a few weeks, if not a couple months. So stay tuned for that. We are not done when the season is done. And I'm hoping this Saturday I will be putting out a video about an Orville renewal. Like I said, fingers crossed. Thank you guys for showing up, for all your questions, and some of you even had answers to things as well. I always enjoy the chat. It's my favorite thing. You're my favorite thing, even though you're a person, not a place or a thing. But you're my favorite thing. And I'll see you guys very soon. And as always, we all do better when we all do better. Love you. Bye-bye.